Well, welcome everybody back to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying YouTuber in all of YouTube entertainment today, here to put the rest, to bury the Stranger Things corpse as it was into the ground, and to tell you guys my rankings and to do a fun little character tier list. I think I did a quite clever tier list for this one. Normally I have Justin Proper and Chris Knight on here, but this is a bit of a personal one for me. This is my own feelings on the show because I didn't feel like I really wanted to have more people in on this. I wanted to give you guys my own perspective on Stranger Things as a whole and the characters as a whole and what I think about the characters going from season 1 all the way up to season 5. I will be ranking all of the characters and where I feel they are, and I'm also going to rank the seasons. And I'm going to start with the season ranking first, from 1 through 5, 5 being the worst, and of course 1 being the best. So let me just start off by saying that the season I had initially in my last place was not going to be there until I've read some interviews by the Duffer Brothers themselves to explain some issues that I had with the show, to which their answers ranged from "we don't know" to "it was a complete and total utter stupid reason." I think there was one about people saying, "Where were the demi-dogs and the bats in the final episode?" And they said, "Oh, they weren't there. They're just chilling. They're just off somewhere for the final battle." And the more I thought about the final season, the more it earned this place. So I'm going to kick this off right away because the ranking should go quickly. As the worst season in the Stranger Things, I'm going to have to say, and it was a tough one because it was between two seasons I particularly dislike. And the worst season I would have to give to season 5. And I don't think it's the worst season of television. There's a difference. But if I'm going in the Stranger Things universe, right, I'm just ranking the seasons on their own, collectively in the universe. Season 5 to me is number 5 because it is just downright terrible if you stop and think about it. And I didn't do this ranking right away. I watched it New Year's Day. I sat with it. I watched the final again because I wasn't going back through fucking volume 2 because that was just atrocious. And I think if they cut out volume 2 and they just had volume 1 and the final, I could have bumped it up. But because of the fact that we had one of the worst lines since I'm going to be a dad, with Will sitting and stopping the whole fucking plot to reveal something that I thought they did cleverly throughout the show. I think that the pacing and the way that it's both satisfying and not satisfying, like some of the character beats work for me, some don't. Some shit is nonsensical, some just forget about it. Like the military was there. Where do they go at the end? It's 18 months later. Just skipping over it. Like, what? Like, these people committed war crimes. They killed military people. Like, there's no quick throwaway lines. It's a lot of just feeling like trying to get something done and appease certain people, but not really doing what's good for the story. So I didn't think that season 5 would be in the bottom 5. I thought I'd have it a little bit higher. But unfortunately for me, season 5, the newest season, is the worst season of the show because for an ending, it gives an ambiguous end. Spoilers, because I'm going to be breaking down seasons, obviously. But 11, the cop out with that. Is she alive? Is she not alive? Now we got people talking she is alive, or they keep it intentionally ambiguous. If you watch the episode, she can't be alive, folks. The Mirage girl was shot dead. She didn't crawl and then show a mirage of 11. Like, and if she is, that's just stupid because it doesn't track timeline-wise with especially everything that was going on. And plus, she was bleeding out. So even if I buy that she's alive long enough to, like, prop herself up, she was, like, gushing blood. So this whole thing with 11, it didn't make sense. The best part about this, honestly, was the speech that Will gave at the end. about being the storyteller and where he thought everybody would be. I thought that was great. I'm not gonna lie, pulled at the heartstrings, but a lot of this was just such a letdown. And the biggest letdown is that volume 1 of part 5 is super strong. And then volume 2 just fucking crashes and burns spectacularly. And I think that the 2-hour final does nothing to justify how fucking terrible the middle part is. And this isn't just to Stranger Things. Cobra Kai had the same issue where, honestly, I could have got rid of part 1 and just watched the last episode and jumped right into it, and I would have been fine. Yeah, but season 5 is my lowest ranked season. I think it's the worst out of the series. And so, yeah, it was a big disappointment. Now, number 4 on my worst is going to be season 3. I fucking hate season 3. Really bad. Now, but the difference between season 3 and season 5 and why it finally got out up above season 5 was that season 3 at least felt like it was driving to something. And honestly, if we ended at season 3, I would have been salty with how the storylines went, but it would have felt complete. We had the arc with the mind flare and them trying to redeem a horrible character. Don't know where that came from, but the whole Terminator thing, the character assassinated Hopper in season 3. It was a lot of bad, baffling choices. And it's why my next one will probably be so high. But season 3 would have been my lowest before season 5 came out. So it's really crazy. And the only reason why this one is above season 5 is just because of how bad season 5, at least to me, drops the ball. And season 3 is just boring too. It's really hard to get through. If you ask me, either of these can swap between 4 and 5. These are my 2 most unliked seasons. Like, when I'm going back through, I skip over a lot of season 3 because it's just fucking useless. The whole Terminator thing and the Russians in the mall, it's just stupid. The best bright spot was Robin, and then her character gets murdered in like seasons 4 and 5. She kind of gets more annoying this season than she was in 4. But like 3 was just like, they had a few things going, and I think this is the thing you notice as you go through with this show as a whole. This really feels like a one and done. And you feel the length as the show goes on of them stretching these plots and everything like that. So my number 4 ranked season in the Stranger Things would be season 3. I don't think it's very good. Now, my number 3 ranked season is going to have to be season 2. Gasp, I know. Season 2 has a lot of good stuff in it. Don't get me wrong. There's some stuff going on with Will's character. It's the second season he was the most involved in. But the season really comes to a halt with one of the most baffling decisions and something that knocks it down a peg because it's literally an episode you can skip over and has no relevance to the story, much like Volume 2, the second to last episode, I feel didn't have much relevance. The Lost Sisters is quite possibly not just the worst episode in this show, but just in general in episodic television, which I've watched for many years. The Lost Sisters is a truly horrible episode. And I went back through because I did a full, complete watch of every Stranger Things leading up to the brand new season. And rewatching The Lost Sister is so painful to go back through. The storylines don't make sense. It's supposed to function as a backdoor pilot to a show we never got, with characters that are so flat and uninteresting. And the one sister, I forget her name, I'll go back through, but the other experiment there, she's much like this season, just so unlikable and has no charisma. She's like a giant charisma vacuum. And it's just absolutely baffling to me how this actress got this part, because she has no, like, her name's Kylie. Yeah, number 8. she has no personality, no, like nothing to her, and it's a really baffling decision of how we focus on these characters. It was just really bad, and it really brings season two down. Now, some of the positives are season two had Max, who is one of my favorite characters you'll see in the tier list. Um, and you have some interesting stuff with her brother that then gets ruined because they try to redeem him once again in my second to worst of season three. There's a lot of good stuff, but I think episode 8 really brings down this season so far down. I mean, I still rewatch it. I just skipped the episode, but it really is a very bad, baffling choice. And the fact that they try to redeem the character, and to me, they don't redeem this character at all. They're just still the same bland, boring, generic character with slightly more baggage and backstory. So, yeah, season 2 would be higher up if it wasn't for the fact that it has one of the worst episodes in Stranger Things. And I would say across a lot of shows I watched, like Lost Sister is a terrible episode. My number 2 would be Stranger Things season 4. This was when I got hope. After season 3, you have to understand where I'm coming from. I think season 3 is as bad as season 5, so they're both kind of sharing that 4 and 5 spot. But season 4, and especially when we get introduced to Vecna, a lot of it I found captivating. Now, some people said the pacing was off, and that's fine. I personally like the extended times, but Vecna, when he was introduced, was such a great villainous character. And then to see them take his character where they go, where the setup was so interesting. I like him being part of the experiments. I like him being essentially the first experiment because, as we know, 11 is one of the most powerful, but basically her and Vecna are like considered the most powerful ones. So you got the setup for a good, solid battle. The thing that lets Vecna down in this season and why it wouldn't be my number 1 is because Vecna is kind of hyped up, and there's certain scenes I notice, especially in this season, where they nerf him in order to not overshadow our main characters or not put them in peril. And that's a big thing going forward. I think around this time too, it became clear the cast was getting bigger, and they kind of had an aversion of wanting to kill off any of the main characters. And look, I'm not saying you got to go Game of Thrones every show, but the fact that this wild shit happens and literally we only have like deaths of characters that are just whatever, and then we have like an ambiguous death for a main character, it just feels like kind of cheap and cowardly. Season 4 was the first time I felt danger, and that's why it's number 2 on my list, because the how Vecna was introduced was probably one of my favorite scenes in Stranger Things since the first season. And I like the fact of him being this Freddy Krueger-esque character. And you have the great Robert Englund, who makes a special guest appearance, which I just thought was cool. Season 4 really hyped me up for a final that, in my opinion, doesn't live up to the setup. But I'll still go back and watch it. I still think this is probably the strongest season since season 2, which is why it's just above 2. And it's really bummer to see where the whole Vecna plot wound up going. But his introduction and what he does, especially when we thought he killed Max, which once again the writers undo that. It left the characters in a place where I felt like they were, really disjointed, and it got me excited for the next season, which season 3 didn't. So, and then we get into volume 1 of season 5, and I thought, oh shit, we're going somewhere, and everyone saw how that turned out. So, season 4 is my second favorite season of the whole series, and of course, my number 1 is season 1. Look, Stranger Things now getting the whole package and seeing where the Duffer Brothers went with this story. I do feel like this was a one and done season. Season 1 is damn near perfect in every way conceivable, not just because it was the first most unique show that I saw, but even rewatching it now, knowing what to expect. The acting is great, the writing is tighter, the story could function on its own. I mean, if you stopped at season one, you could just leave it where it was at. There was that loose thread of Will being infected with the mind flare or whatever, but on the whole, it functions as a beginning, middle, and end. And I think the problem and the thing with shows running for so long is that you build up so many expectations, you're inherently not going to please everybody. But season one, I think we could all universally agree, was the most satisfying season with the most uh, story building and world building and the best emotional punch that the show ever had. Still, we need justice for Barb. But yeah, season one to me was as close as I think you can get to perfect television, what's supposed to be a limited series. So my ranking for Stranger Things is as followed. Stranger Things, season 5 is the worst. Season 3 is at number 4. At number 3 is season 2. At number 2 is season 4. And at number 1, I think it's universally agreed, is the first season of Stranger Things. The biggest thing that pissed me off and bumped 5 to the last spot was the interview with the Duffers, where they said, basically, don't think about it. That was their answer to these plot holes. And that really disappoints me. I hate when you ask a creator something and it's either don't think about it or you have to do so many mental gymnastics to understand what they were thinking. And it feels like there just wasn't enough here. They didn't have an ending. I felt like the first season was supposed to be the ending. And, I blame this on Netflix too. They wanted that cash. And I get it. But it's just a shame. Especially because I have season 4 as my second favorite season. And I thought they had so much promise with that setup. I went back through and watched all these again. And season 4 is super good. A lot of emotional moments, not good shit. Especially the scene with the battle in the base was fucking awesome. Vecna's introduction, Robert Englund's cameo, like there's so much going for it, and it got me hyped like I was in the very first season. And it's a shame to see that it was basically for nothing. So, yeah, it goes 5, 3, 2, 4, and then 1 as the top one, of course, because very few shows, especially the caliber of Stranger Things, can really top that first season. Breaking Bad was just one of those flukes where it got better every season until the end. This one, it should have stopped. So, with that being said, I'm going to get to my longest thing. And that's, I decided, because I've been on this journey for so long, God damn it, I'm going to end it the way I want to. And we're going to do a tier list of every character that has appeared, including the wacky side characters. I'm going to be ranking every single character from the best to worst in my Stranger Things tier list. Is my own concoction. I am actually pretty pretty happy about this one. So here are the tiers we have for this tier list. We have the Barb tier list. These are the S tier characters. They are the unsung heroes, or the ones who I felt got fucked over and should have been treated better. Justice for Barb. If you know, you know. We have BFF tier, which is the tier that they're A basically. I want to be friends with them. I want to hang out with them. I think that they're awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I love that Kate Bush song till the end of time. So we have the Running Up the Hill tier. These are characters that either they started off good and they got shitty, or they started off shitty, but they didn't get as close to the other top tiers. We have Demi Garbage. These are characters that are not quite in the bottom tiers, but they're still just really, they don't contribute anything. They're kind of just there. Um, we have How Are You Not Dead? These are characters that, much like the title says, how are they still in the show? Why are they not dead? I don't see the point of them. And of course, to celebrate the worst episode, the bottom tier is the Lost Sister, which is the absolute trash tier characters that I absolutely hate, and they are a blight on that tier. Put Lucas there. Oh boy, that's a rough rap, man. You'll see where Lucas is. I'll give my explanations for each character. I could definitely see an argument for that. So over here we've got everybody. I got Barb, I got Bob, I got Eddie. I'm gonna do Vecna as 3 separate characters because really, I feel like the performer does do 3 different versions of the character, each of which are a varying degree. We have these side characters that I fucking forget their name because they're just so non-relevant. We've got Dr. Brenner. We got the kid who's in the new season. I can't even remember his name because he's so unforgettable. Soldier guy, I just called him. We got Joyce and Hopper and the Mind Flayer. We're going to be ranking everyone. And of course, our favorite, Kylie, number 8, I believe they call her. Hey, everybody loved her, right? Because they redeemed her in season 5. This is going to be a long one. I'm going to, be here for a while. So sit back, grab some snacks, and let's get to rating. This is my first tier list of this magnitude. And I'm really excited to do this because I haven't done anything like this for most of the shows that I cover. So hopefully you guys enjoy my ranking, and let me know, in the comments as I'm doing this, or if you rewatch this, what you feel about my ranking, where you would put different people, and stuff like that. So let's get to ranking these, and the first one we've got, funny enough, don't put disrespect on my boy Derek's. Okay, so let's go to the first one, which is Barb. Look here, I created a whole tier for her. Barb is going up in the Barb tier. Barb was a great character. She's the first of many special guest characters that I felt like just got the shit end of the deal. I rewatched the first season before doing this tier list, and I just forgot how great Barb was as a character. Now, if they didn't continuously do this, I would be fine with having that one and done kind of character, but they don't resolve her story at all. I think it's just a fucking mystery if she's even alive. It amazes me how much we forgot about Barb. Even in this new season, when they go over all the people who died, there's not even Nancy fucking forgets her best friend. There's no flashback to fucking Barb at all. Dude, this character started a movement that I believe in. Hashtag justice for Barb. What the fuck, man? This is the worst. And I get what they were going for, but I would have liked to see a body or some kind of acknowledgement. I think they do something. Nancy mentions it in passing, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but they don't. I rewatched it and they don't show a body. It's assumed she's dead. She just got sucked in. So, I mean, I assumed she's dead. I think you can gather she's dead. I just feel like she was a really great character that got cut short. And now for the next one, and we're moving through some of my favorite characters. Bob. I love Bob. Samwise Gamgee, the man right here. Bob, to me, belongs top tier because Bob was very obviously cannon fodder. He was with Joyce. He worked at fucking Radio Shack. My man was trying to make his best life. And even his scene in season 2 for me is one of the highlights. Thank you. I agree. Bob is one of those characters that I didn't mind that they killed off, because I think you don't have such a great scene in the second season without that death that he does, where he shuts the door to get everybody out. And plus, unlike Eddie, who we'll get to, his death made sense. They were trapped, and he had to sacrifice himself in order to make sure everybody got out okay. Yeah, I agree. Justice for Bob too. I feel like though he was just killed off because they wanted to get to the Hopper Joyce uh, romance, and I think poor Bob got the short end of the stick on that. Yeah, that's my take too. Yeah, I think Bob was shortchanged, and he's an angel, and there's no other place for him on this list except for by Barb. I'm gonna put Barb over Bob just because Barb got fucked more than Bob, at least to me. But the one who's gonna be over both of them, Eddie. Let's talk about Eddie. Since the early days of Stranger Things, and I'm gonna go through these side characters I don't fucking even remember. Eddie was a character that was so likable. And even being a dickhead, he was like, you could picture one of your friends being like that. He was that dude. His death is the weakest point in season 4 because for the life of me, and it's said in the show, it served no fucking purpose. It was just for a shocking death that honestly, and I know this is blasphemy, I think Steve should have fucking died. But no, Eddie dies in a really, really, really pointless scene to me. They even highlighted like he didn't have to stay; they were away from the bats. That I maintain he could have been kept alive. Um, and you know, then the bats aren't addressed in this final season, so the whole thing now getting season 5 in retrospect, it makes Eddie's death feel even more pointless, like more for shock value than it was for character motivation. And I get that it drives Dustin in season 5, but to be honest, I hate the Dustin Steve thing. Just felt like a waste of time, like we were spinning our wheels. I think it was a good story for Dustin, but once again, like many things in season 5, it was poorly executed. And it really then cheapens Eddie's death in the grand scheme of things because it's like, why'd we kill him? What was the point? Just to have the audience gasp, to pull at the heartstrings. There's 1,000 different things they could have did instead of throwing Eddie into the pit of characters that just get killed off. Oh yeah, I do agree too. I did not like the back and forth between Steve and Dustin, and we'll get to that when I get to their rating. But yeah, I'm going to put Eddie even above Barb because I feel like his death was totally fucking pointless. These two had more of a meaning in the story, whereas to me, I honestly think that if you readjust things for 5, we could have had Eddie. I would have been fine with him in an extra season, maybe giving him a better heroic death than fucking going back for the bats. So I'm definitely going to put Eddie up in the Barb tier. Now, I so Vecna, this is not Vecna. This is when he is pretending to be the friend of 11. I forgot. This isn't even his Henry persona. It is like his number 1 or whatever when he's in the psych ward thing. I'm going to put this on running up the hill. I think that that it's quite a chilling performance. However, I don't know. I never really thought that he was as intimidating in this form as he is as the creepy guy propositioning kids. We'll get to that version of him, or the actual Vecna form, the upside down version of himself or whatever. I do think he has creepy moments. He does scream like he's a bad guy, but you know, it comes off as kind of just a whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I think his Henry form, and we'll see when we get to him. I think that's more intimidating because I'm a father, and having this dude going up to kids and like weirdly trying to like be charming or whatever, it taps more into that stranger danger kind of thing. And I think it fits a lot with the 80s and stranger danger and looking out for fucking weirdos. This one is more clinical. Very obviously, you knew he was a bad guy. I think he was less charming and still manipulative, but he just didn't have any pizzazz to him. I wouldn't call him a completely useless character. It was just wasn't doing it for me. So let's go on to the next one. Now, this next one, if anyone could help me out, I forget his name. He's the Russian dude. I think that Hopper and the crazy guys saves the conspiracy theory guy, Manny or whatever the hell his name is. You'll see where I rate him. I don't like him much as a character. And I'm of two minds. He felt like a lot of humor, but he dies in such a weird way. And I don't really feel like he has much point after he gives the initial reveal of what the Russians are doing, besides adding comic relief. So I'm going to put him in demi garbage. And he's not on the bottom here. It's just like he serves one function and then kind of, for me, stays past his little thing. Like, I don't understand, like, even the picture man going out for the Slurpees, like, I get it, and some people like this character. I get it, he's charming or whatever, but I just yeah, see, that's the thing. He's got that face that yeah, I don't like Murray at all. I'm not a big Murray fan. I think he was good in season 3, which is this season, but past that, I can't stand him. But in this season, with Murray and with Hopper and the back and forth, I could see why people like the character, which is why I'm not going to put him on the bottom tier. Even that stupid look he's got on his picture, the guy's charming. He's not top tier. He's not as good as the rest of the characters. So let's go to, I'm going to call this mean football jock douchebag. This is from season 4, which is my second favorite season in the series. I'm going to call this guy, How Are You Not Dead? Like, look, I don't like writing with corny stereotypes. And look, I get it. The whole thing of Stranger Things is it's a riff on 80s movies and how they do their structure. But he was too over the top. Like, look, I went to public school. I grew up in New York. I don't think I've encountered, outside of like gangs and shit, people this mean and vindictive. It was just a slightly more over the top than normal. He did serve his purpose, because when he died, I was glad he died. But it was just such a, like, the actor really hammed up that role. Yeah. Yeah, it was useless. That's what I'm saying. These jocks don't amount to anything. And that's what I mean why How Are You Not Dead? Because none of these guys, except for that one who's hunting them down because of Eddie, none of these guys serve a purpose past, oh, we had them in the past season. And they don't even tell you what happened to them. And the actors don't bring anything like the people above them, any kind of charisma. Even Barb or Bob or Eddie, they have that thing. They have it. Those are your characters where we argue about how great they are, or they shouldn't have died. This guy, does anybody here give a fuck about what happened to Jock number 2? Because I don't. I didn't care. Like, they showed him in season 5, and I was like, oh yeah, that guy is still there. That's why I made the How Are You Not Dead tier. Because this is like, dude, what? Why are we nobody gives a shit about this plot. And I said that was my problem with season 5. It's a lot of spinning the wheels. So, yes. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can tell me this guy's name. The weakest point of season 4. This fucking dude with the dreads and working at the fast food restaurant. God, does anybody remember his name? Oh my gosh. This guy is the definition of fucking wasting time. And I'm going to put him in the bottom tier category. He serves no purpose to the plot. and he's just there. He doesn't add it to the story. It's stupid comic relief. I do not, for the life of me, it just felt like because they were sidelining some of the other characters that they needed that they needed this asshole to exist. I hate more than anything when a show puts in a character for one specific function and the character has no other purpose. They don't move the story. They don't contribute anything to the story except for being the funny stoner guy. Those were the worst scenes of season 4 for me. Oh yes, okay. So Aglor, yeah, I did not like Aglor at all. He does not add nothing except for I think the vehicle they escape in, if I remember correctly, the pizza vehicle. He doesn't add anything. I'm sorry. I know some people like him. Don't come at me. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand this kind of character. Maybe it's a personal bias of mine, but a character like this does to me. They're not moving anything forward. He's not contributing in any way. He's just there as a support system, basically. Yes. You know what? That's a great one. I love that, Ratman. He reminds me of a weird uncle. Yes, they're there. You have to acknowledge that they exist, but you're still wondering why you're there. And here's the thing. This is my own tier list. I'm sure people will have things on a different front, but yeah, he just annoys me. And the only thing he did was make what's his face his character better. Because honestly, this was a season where a lot of characters were sidelined or they were split off, which is one of my problems. My only problem really with season 4 was the splitting of everybody. It felt like it was to give Jonathan a buddy and something to do and nothing more. And it's a shame too, because we'll get to Jonathan's character, because he starts out really strong, at least to me, in seasons 1 and 2, and kind of drops off a fucking cliff. But it just felt like Jonathan needed somebody, so they got Aguilar. And look, out of the two of them, he's more fascinating in the season, but he doesn't add anything. And I'm going by if the characters contribute something. So let's go to this one. We have, if anyone could help me out with this dude, I believe he was one of the friends of Eddie. This guy with the spiked hair. Yeah, season 4 was that was my problem with season 4, where the split ups. And season 3 was the same thing. So this guy here, Dungeons and Dragons guy, one of Eddie's friends, I'm just gonna put him in demi garbage. Much like this dude, he has very few lines. He's just kind of there as somebody who's in that group and that clique. It's kind of funny to me that I looked up this tier list and they have so many fucking random people in here that I forgot were in the show. And I'm like, holy shit, how are they on this list? Because it's really fucking crazy. They literally put, I think, every side character and every character from every season in this list. So it's gonna take me a while. It's like, I don't even remember what Mohawk Guy did. I remember some of the back and forth, but I just watched the season. I remember he was in there briefly. They had some good jokes with Eddie. And it was like his clique. There was another girl too, and then the cheerleader. There were like all these groups together, and he's, to me, like, he's funny for what he's in, but he's forgettable and doesn't move the plot very much. So let's go to Dr. Brenner. Now, oh boy, guys, I don't know where you find him, and I don't know if this is a hot take, but I'm going to put him up into BFF. I don't think he's super top tier, and I'll give you my reasons why. I think it's bullshit that they didn't kill him off, but the actor for Dr. Brenner, and for me, in season 4, when 11 has the battle with the helicopter and stuff, I don't know about you guys, but Dr. Brenner pulled at my heartstrings a bit. His death and everything, his second death, I'm just going to say, because I'm pretty sure he was dead the first time. But the his death and him finally sacrificing himself and actually putting 11 as if she was his actual daughter over his own scientific needs or whatever. It's a story as old as time, but man, I'm a sucker for this shit. Dr. Brenner, and I think really it's the actor. The actor is so fucking good in this role. The way he can shift and make you question if he cares about 11 or if he's just telling her what she wants to hear to get her to do whatever he's trying to get her to do. I think not very many people can pull that off in the show. And one thing we can say that puts him above most of these characters is that Dr. Brenner, whenever he was in the story, he shifted it, he moved it. One of the best action sequences was based on them looking for him and him trying to get 11 powers back. And you can't tell me you guys weren't. I was fucking standing up and cheering when 11 started fucking people up and takes down the helicopter. And just for him setting up that monumental moment, he's got to be up there. Like, I'm not going to put him on the tippy top because I have a problem with them bringing him back to life. Because I could have sworn, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought they strongly implied he was dead. Now, I don't know, but yeah, Dr. Owens too, I'll get to him because I don't know what happened to him. Did he die? Can you tell me, Dark XX9, if you know, if they gave us confirmation? Because I don't remember them showing he was dead. They just kind of entering the base, and it felt like very ambiguous. So, yeah, Dr. Brenner was pretty good. I liked him. Now, we have the Demogorgon. Look here, folks. This is a character, and this is a very inconsistent character. Because, especially in this new season, the Demogorgon is nerfed or badass, very depending on what the scene needs. And that kind of rubs me the wrong way. So I'm going to put the Demogorgon up with Mr. First Form Vecna here and right below him, because the Demogorgon would be higher, except for the fact that past, I think even, I give him season 2, seasons 3 and 4, and especially 5, the power levels are very inconsistent. 1 minute you'll have one Demogorgon fucking killing everybody, and the next minute they're playing Home Alone with the Demogorgon. And I don't, or the Demodog. I don't understand. Like, please explain to me the power scaling. I hate writing where creatures and supernatural things, especially when you're writing, and I write stories. So this is a problem that you have with powerful beings, is that if you make something so powerful, you have to nerf them at certain times, because then it overshadows everything else you're trying to set up. So you can't have a demigod be more powerful than Vecna or the Mind Flayer. But you can't have this thing that rips through people in one scene, and then a couple episodes later, they can't fucking follow a radio when they're tracking them in season 5. Like, and then they get blown up. Like, the power scaling doesn't track to me. And it's very frustrating. So it doesn't make it a bad character. It makes it an inconsistent character. We started Stranger Things out with them, so I can't say they're terrible characters or they're terrible creatures that drive this story. But what I can say is they're the most fucking inconsistent thing in the world of Stranger Things. So, yeah. Okay, so this kid, hold on. I want to especially look up his name. Who is that? He's one of the friends of Holly. If anybody's got the name of the kid, I heard it 15 times, but because he fucking annoyed me so much, I forgot. Derek, thank you, Derek. I'm gonna put him. You see, he fucking annoys me, but then again, he does have some scenes that I can't lie to you folks. I gotta be honest with you. I can't say I didn't laugh, especially when he flips people off. But it came across at a certain point kind of try hard. But you know what? I don't think he's bottom tier. I'll move him right here, demi garbage. And I will even put him above these guys because he actually has an arc and he's part of a big major plot. My problem with this character is, and maybe this isn't fair, I watched it, Welcome to Derry, and I love most of the cast in that, except for two characters. And he comes off as a very try-hard version of the Richie character in that show, only without as much weight behind his comedy and stuff, and actually doesn't even have very good delivery. It's just kind of like, yeah, fuck you. Like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, kid actors aren't bad. I think directing and pulling a good performance out of them is very important. And for me, that's what kind of keeps him down, even from the tier up, is because he's just missing that sauce. I don't know what it is. Like, there's moments where I could see the actor could be really funny. And I don't know if the material lets him down, or if it's the scene he's in, or if he's trying too hard to hit something. Hey, Jane Creek, good to see you. Welcome to my character tier list. We're going to be here for a while of apparently every fucking character from every Stranger Things. I'm ranking them. So, yeah, I'm not going to spoil Welcome to Derry. If you haven't seen it, watch it. This isn't that kind of a stream. I might do a tier list actually for those characters. But I will tell you, definitely it's good you watch this before you watch Welcome to Derry, because that season final is 20 times better than the finale of Stranger Things. But anyways, it really messed up how I'm looking at what child actors can do, because some of the acting from the kids on that show is so fucking good. Some of it's really bad. It kind of reminds me, this kid sits in the middle of good and bad. Like, sometimes his performance gets a chuckle out of me. Other times he fucking annoys me. So I'm really like mixed, but yeah, he's definitely above these guys because these guys are just forgettable. Like, if you guys didn't tell me, I forgot the Russian dude's name. So Barb tier right now has 3 strong, just to catch everybody up. In the Barb tier, we got 3 so far. Only one A tier, Brenner. He almost made it to the top, just kind of fell short for me. The whole did he die one season? Did he not? That just bugs me. Of course, we got Vecna's first form here above the demi-dog because of inconsistent powers levels. And then, of course, How Are You Not Dead, which is just a bland tier. We have Football Guy. Anybody even remember this guy's name? At least Aguilar people remembered his name, but I put him in Lost Sisters just because I hate him. Apparently, he's more popular than I thought. So that is really weird to me. Okay, so we have another character here who I have no idea who this is. I have no earthly idea who this is, so I'm gonna put on my Lost Sister. I don't know who that is. If you guys know in the chat, let me know. I have no clue. I, I I don't know. I don't know. I hope it's not another picture of Jonathan. Sometimes these tier lists do 2 or 3 pictures of the same person. So he was such a badass. Loved him. Russian guy from season 4. You know what? I'm so surprised how many people like the Russian guy. And look, I didn't put him in a bad tier, as you guys can see. I put him, demi garbage is just a funny play on words, but these are just people that I felt like are not as essential, or they have one function, or they're kind of confusing in the case of Derek. Whereas these ones move the plot more. They've got more to do, or just made more of an impact on me. Now, this kid, I do remember. I don't know if you guys remember, but this is the kid. I don't know his name, but he was one of the people that was being terrified by Vecna or something like that. He's in the very beginning. I'm going to put him, you know what? I'm going to put him in How Are You Not Dead, because he does wind up dying. Look, I'll put him above Football Guy. He's not as bad as him. However, he doesn't really do much. and I believe he dies or just kind of disappears. I don't know what happens to him. I only remembered his character, and I even forgot his name, and I just watched season 4. So, like, very forgettable. I know, like, I don't know. With characters where I can't remember their names, that really doesn't bode well for me because you guys know, and I didn't even remember Agler, but that was just because I don't like him. I knew who he was. Where you guys, apparently, a lot of you guys are Aglar fans, so a big hit for some people. Sorry, not for me. But yeah, this kid, I'm just putting him there because I remembered him. Yeah, he got killed ASAP. I remembered him. I remember he got killed. I also remember the scene was very well acted, but I can't put a character up if your only function is to die. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the whole snapping, the fucked up thing that Vecna does, but it's just he doesn't leave an impression. He's like football guy. Why are you still here? Why? What? Why? Okay, moving on. Jonathan. Oh boy, guys. I don't know. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this a little bit different. Who here thinks Jonathan? Hey, Matthew, good to see you. Who thinks Jonathan should be high on this tier list? Because I think I might ruffle some feathers with my answer. Because I have very mixed feelings on Jonathan. And maybe this is a hot take. Don't hate me. But take seasons 1, and I'll even give him 2. Jonathan was awesome in season 1 and felt like he functioned so well, and the thing with him and Nancy and everything, great stuff. Season 2, okay, I like his interactions with Bob. He's very in the stories. But season 3, what the fuck happened? Season 4, what the fuck happened? Season 5, he has a non-marriage to Nancy, talks to people, him and Steve fight. That's about it. So, because he has, to me, 2 good seasons, and he's not a Derek, and at least 2 seasons he has a functioning plot, I'm going to put him up in Running Up the Hill. And hell, I'll give him the top spot. But I can't go to these high tier levels. I'm sorry. I just feel like the writers really dropped the ball with Jonathan. And here's why. Because especially in season 4, they sidelined the shit out of him to the point that I forgot he was in the season until we get the whole escape and they're taking 11 to the pizza place or whatever. I fucking forgot he was a character in the show. And I think it's one of those things where, and once again, this isn't the actor's fault. And where it put some of these people, the actors are great. I don't think any of the main stars really dropped the ball on the acting of their characters. But at the same time, I am basing this tier list on, do you function from 1 through 5 or in the season you're in to the best of your ability? And it's going to be hard for a lot of the characters because I feel like they dropped the ball on a shit ton of them, especially this last season. But with Jonathan in particular, I just feel like the writers had nowhere to go with him, man. Like, I think his story ended. I'd even give him maybe season 3. I can't even remember what he was doing in that one because I hate that season. But 3, 4, and 5, man, I just feel like he doesn't have, and he's the definition of running up that hill because he just doesn't feel like he has anything left. And this is the problem with not killing characters. Look, I know we love characters. I fucking love Max. I wish they would have killed her and committed. And she's, so spoilers where I'm going to put her. But when you're too afraid to get rid of some of your characters, you run into a bottleneck in writing. And like I said, I'm writing a book series right now where I'm taking my characters and it's going to be a novel series. And it's hard, especially when you create characters, because you don't want to see none of them go. But at a certain point, you got to like trim the fat, because then you have this bloated cast and not enough time to give everybody a meaningful and fulfilling story. And I think that's what happened to Jonathan. And I really wanted to talk about this. I don't know if you guys agree, read some of the comments right now, but I just feel like he had nowhere to go. I got to go, but I'll tune into the next stream. Thank you. I really appreciate you stopping by. And let me read this one. He would have never made it up the hill with his sideways run. All right, man, I agree. Yeah, it's just one of those characters I feel really bad about because I don't think the actor is bad. I really don't. I quite like the. He's got his own charm to him, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of the main characters are going to be a little bit higher up, even if they're not top tier, because the actors have it. They have that sauce that makes their performances and makes what they do stand out. The issue I have with characters like Jonathan, and we'll get to Lucas and other characters, is after a while, they kind of just run out of things to do. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, not to be cynical or not to be nihilistic, but you got to fucking kill people or have them leave or some shit, because then your cast just becomes too bloated and you don't have enough time and storylines for everyone to thrive. And Jonathan is a perfect fucking example of that, man. After season 2, he really just has nothing to do. And it's a shame because the actor is giving 100%. So let's get to the next character. And look, folks, before I make this, I got to preference this. I am a huge fan. A huge fan of Winona Ryder. I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 84, but I'm a 90s kid. I remember peak Winona Ryder, okay? But even with sucky storylines, even with being separated or having nothing to do, I'm sorry, folks. People might disagree, but she's going right up here, baby, to the barbed tier. And I am actually going to put her. I think I'm going to put her above Eddie. Look, now you might not like the storylines that she got, but Winona Ryder in every fucking scene of this show, no matter what scene she's doing, and especially that first season, does not work with her acting. She is just fucking the worst season ever. And even in this new season, even though I didn't like a majority of it, and people have problems with the Vecna scene in general, I'm sorry, it still got me when she was cutting off Vecna's head. Like, it's not the scene as ridiculous when you think about it, but the actor can sell it. And she's an actress that fucking sells every scene that she's in from beginning to end. I can talk about storylines she's in that were just bad storylines. That is not the actress's fault. But the acting quality she gives us from 1 through 4 never fucking changes. She knows the character and she maintains it throughout the whole show. Yes, 100%. The anxiety that she puts in, the way she can be in a scene with other characters and still sell it, even if the scene is terrible. I mean, that's all on her. And there's a lot of shit in season 5 I did not like. And I'm not saying it's worse. This thing people are saying it's worse than Game of Thrones. Fuck you. I lived through Game of Thrones. I built my channel on how bad Game of Thrones was. The last season is nowhere near that. But it's a big step down. And Winona Ryder, out of everything that's wrong with that season, she's not the problem. She is great. I love her. We'll do a Game of Thrones throwback. She's McQueen. And is it biased because I love Winona Ryder as an actress? Yeah, a little bit. It is a little bit biased. But you guys find me a bad scene she's in. Like, honestly, I like her acting never fucking changed. Even we'll get to Hopper. Even like everyone's acting doesn't line up as they get worse material. But Winona Ryder stays fucking consistent. She's probably the only character in this show that is consistent all the way through. Yeah, they did. They took away a lot of her screen time in 5, which was just when she was on screen, she was a joy. every season, and that's hard to do, especially when you notice the quality drop. So I'm gonna give her flowers. Now this is probably gonna ruffle some feathers, okay? But I'm just gonna say this because it has to be said. The mother, what the fuck is her name? Hold on a second. I'm gonna go back here. The Wheeler mom, his mother. What's her name? Um, someone throw me. Yeah, Karen, knock him down, Wheeler. Thank you. I'm gonna put her in bottom tier. Or no, you know what? I'll give her How Are You Not Dead? Because that is why I created this tier. I think if you kill her during that amazing fight in the house where Vecna is saying her, that I would have had her up here just because I found that scene good. But her killing two demi-dogs being near death, and I know it's the scene that's written, but her acting to me is not that great. I'm sorry if you guys like that. I thought it was fucking ridiculous. I thought her facial features and how she acted the scene was just, it was trying too hard. Trying too hard. And her character before this season was just, hey, what are you guys doing down there? Come and eat dinner. Like, how do we bump her up to like fucking Rambo? I do not understand the transition. There, like, okay, with Winona Ryder's character, I could understand Joyce, her evolution. It's shown. Miss Wheeler just fucking comes out of nowhere, and it's jarring, and I do not understand it. I thought it was very left field, out of nowhere, and I didn't particularly care for her acting. I wouldn't say she's the worst character, but she's just like, and I really believe she should have been dead. And I'm gonna say what everybody else has said. Can we get justice for the dad? Like, they don't even acknowledge, where was he in that scene? Did he even did he get knocked down? I watched it a couple of times. I don't know what happened to the father, but like, they don't show him until fucking graduation. He's just fine, just doing his thing, like swearing. Like, make it make sense. I don't. It was very. It was just so frustrating. Uh, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Okay, so I'm just gonna call him Evil Military Guy. Evil Military Guy. You're gonna go in. I'm gonna put him in. How Are You Not Dead? Because of the fact of I found him very generic, and although he sets off the final scene and kills Callie, supposedly, depending on which ending you believe for 11. I just found him very boring, very one note. Yeah, I put him above these ones because he does a little bit more for the story, but he's all just like, I want to find these kids myself. I want to kill them, and we've got to stop 11. There's like, really, he's just bad soldier guy number 8 with a little bit more screen time. He really, you have, here's my issue. You have fucking Linda Hamilton, who should be driving the military plot, and we spend more time with this random soldier guy who got fucking boofed with a truck. Like, this is my issues I had with season 5, because it's like, you got fucking Linda Hamilton, and there's a meta connection because they did a season that was basically like a Terminator ripoff, and then you got her, and you could have even connected Linda Hamilton to how ridiculous they made Nancy this season, where you could have been like showing her doing the one-armed pull-ups, and you have women to handle. They could have went so meta with it, and that's just a sidebar tangent. Wasted potential for me. But this guy really is just angry soldier guy. He doesn't do anything but, kill someone we don't give a shit about and growl and talk about how they need to find the gang. So Billy, boy, this is gonna be, I don't know if this is gonna be a hot take or not. But I don't like, and it's not the actor's fault, but I don't like that in I think it was third season. Yeah, it was a season I didn't like in general. It is hinted that he is abusive and that he has these inappropriate relationships and stuff. And I don't like the redemption arc that they try to give him. And I think that it's kind of gross, just because of how they frame his character. With that being said, though, the actor is very good. And I don't know how to feel because his sacrifice did get me because of his connection to Max, who we'll get to in a second. But at the same time, he was such a terrible person, and it really boggles my mind how they try to redeem this asshole because he's bad on every level as a person and abusive, and I don't believe in trying to redeem that by just simply killing yourself to save people. I don't think that absolves you of all of the other nasty shit that you've done. But with that being said, the actor is so good, and he does get something out of me when I watch this season. So I'm going to put him up on Running Up That Hill, and I'm going to put him just down below for Jonathan because he's still one of the worst characters they ever created. I mean, worse as what his character represents. But the actor bumps him up from being in these bottom tiers because the performance he gives is so good. But because, and maybe this is a personal thing, or maybe it's just because of how they address the topic of abuse. Because keep in mind, folks, I don't know if people remember season 2. I rewatched all the seasons. There's a heavy arc with him basically abusing Max, and I felt dirty and kind of weird. And maybe this is good writing to give them credit that at the same time and through the hard work of this actor, I do feel when he makes that ultimate sacrifice. I just feel like I would put him up there with Brenner if the sacrifice didn't make me feel dirty. His character in general, they went too far over to the other side. And you need like more than one season to redeem someone if they're that bad. It's like with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one of my favorite shows. Spike is a detestable asshole and does really bad things, but because of the charisma of James Masters and because of how the character is written, by the time you get to Angel, he's one of my favorite characters in the Buffy universe, full stop. And I think if you give him time like that character had, I could place him higher. But just because it felt icky, I can't put him any higher. I feel wrong. Okay, I don't even remember who this guy is. I don't know who you are. I'm going to put you right down here, Lost Sister. I have no clue who that is. If you guys know, let me know in the chat. I have no idea. It's just a random guy. B, maybe he was important. I have a feeling he's one of the characters that is just kind of there. Whoa, Lonnie. Oh, okay. So Jonathan's abusive dad. Yeah, see, Lonnie didn't make an impression on me, and I'm going to put him on Lost Sister because I even forgot that storyline. Thank you, Ratman. I forgot that storyline. Yeah, he sucked. He's so bad. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. So I'm not wrong in putting him in bottom tier. These are characters where they serve the function of making Jonathan, like kind of making us bond and understand, which is why Jonathan's above. It makes us understand that character, but they really don't serve another function to the story. And this is another problem I talked about earlier with Stranger Things when they added so much to the cast. I feel like when you write anything, everyone should have a function. If they don't, if I forget your character, you could have cut them and put something in there that enhances your story more than just some fucking random guy that we never see again. Because Lonnie never comes back. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I love it, Ratman. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here because honestly, some of these characters I wasn't even gonna bother looking up. Because if I don't remember you, I don't think you really deserve a shout out. So he literally came to Will's funeral to get money out of it. Thanks. That's great. So he did bottom tier, not memorable. Um, this character, I want to say this was the teacher that, or someone, if my memory serves me, uh, this was a teacher that there was a very inappropriate thing going on with this character. If I remember correctly, this was in that season with Billy. So yeah, I feel like this was the product of some kind of thing that I felt was really icky. So I'm putting them right here in Lost Sister. I feel like they had no purpose. I can't even remember. I want to say they were the teachers, or it was something to do with one of the characters, or maybe it was a girl that was just annoying. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, Lost Sisters. Trash tier character. I don't remember her at all. Um, so we are on to the love interest of um of I just had a complete brain wipe. Uh oh, a student of one of Steve's friends, I think. Jock guy. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Because I was not going to look that up. All right, um uh so what was it that I'm actually going through my list as I'm looking at these because I honestly, for the life of me, cannot remember. um this is Robin's love interest. Oh, what was her name? They tried to make her a primary character in season 5. um uh I totally forgot her name and I've heard it 50 times. um I'm going to put her up in you know, she's not as annoying as Derek or any of these guys. I will put her just I'll put her in running up that hill right underneath Jonathan and Billy. She's just the love interest to me. I don't think. Oh wait, she got Vecna's first. Is that isn't? See, these pictures are really hard. Oh, you're right. That's Vecna's first victim. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's the scene of them by the trees. See, sometimes when I'm doing these tier lists, the pictures are really hard to make out. So I'm gonna put them, or I'm gonna put her then in this bottom tier because I thought she was the girl who was Robin's love interest, and B, her main function is to set up Vecna's arrival. I am gonna put her right second to the last because even though totally forgot what she looked like, she has one of the coolest death scenes and kind of sets up Vecna, who will later be a big disappointment. Yeah, holy shit, good catch. Um, over here. Oh, I call this the cat lady. I've seen her here and there in a couple of seasons. I'm gonna put her in How Are You Not Dead? Uh, she is that really rude. Robin's love interest was Vicky. There we go. Thank you, Vicky. We haven't gotten to Vicky. Yeah, Dustin's mom. Yes, I call her the cat lady, and I'm gonna put her in How Are You Not Dead? Um, I'm gonna put her at the top though because she's Dustin's mom. But honestly, she doesn't. Okay, and people can disagree with me or give me your reasons, but I don't feel like 90% of the parents that are shown, besides like Joyce, and I'll even give it to Karen because, you know, she gets more time, even though I don't really like her performance in this. That's why she's down there. Dustin's mom to me is very weird because she pops in and out. She's not consistently in the story, and I think the most I've seen her was this season. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember seeing her as much as we got at the end of this season. So, I mean, Hopper did pretty well. Yeah. um, but yeah, and I call her the cat lady because she's always got that cat every scene I've seen her in. So, it is what it is. Okay, so Sheriff Guy. This guy is from season 1, I think, or maybe even season 2. He works with Hopper. I'm gonna put him on. I'm gonna put him in Lost Sister because honestly, this dude to me didn't have much going on. I remember he was in the second season. I remember that he died. Oh, she only appeared twice before. That's what I thought. And one of the times she was holding the cat. That's why I called her cat lady. Thank you. Okay, yeah. So I could put her up higher because the ending they gave her kind of some funny lines with her taking pictures of Dustin and stuff like that. But I don't think she really makes an impact much. Yeah, this is the detective guy who worked with Hopper, I believe Hopper's partner. He's predominantly in season 1. I can't even fucking remember if he died or if they just never show this guy again, but he's in Lost Sister. He he's just kind of there to give us the state of Hopper's say, kind of like to explain to the audience what's going on with Hopper. I think he appeared a bit across. Yep, he was in season 1. Yep, and he was in 3 as well. If I'm not correct, because I've only watched season 3 twice because I don't like that season, I think he died in that season, if I'm not mistaken, because they were doing like a Terminator ripoff. And you could let me know. I don't know how good your memory is, because once again, we're going back a couple of seasons. But yeah, that's why I put him in Lost Sister. He's bottom tier. He's basically exposition and give us an insight on Hopper. And I'll put him above Aguilar, to be honest, because 1, I don't like Aguilar, and 2, I think that he functions better because he is literally the mirror to how far Hopper has fallen, and letting us know that there are people who still know the kind of cop he was before the tragedy and things like that. Now, Linda Hamilton. Part of me wants to put her character really high up, but this is my thing with this character, and it's a problem that he might have moved after the quake. Yeah, it was something weird. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's my problem with some of these characters. They just fucking disappear. No one, it's just like they're gone. She reminds me of Carol from The Walking Dead. That's a good reference. Linda Hamilton, she's my queen. She's been in some of the greatest movies of all time. However, how does she function in Stranger Things? I'm going to be honest with you folks. I'm going to put Linda Hamilton. You hate to see it, dude, but I'm going to put her in demi garbage. And I'm even going to put her below the girl who dies from Vecna and fucking Derek. And the reason why I have her lower and not towards the top tiers is I can't rate something because it's one of my favorite actresses. I love Linda Hamilton. I don't think she acts bad. I think what they do with her character is just so nonsensical. And especially because when you think of, yes, I agree, didn't get enough screen time. And I would think if you have Linda fucking Hamilton, you would make her the threat. But really think about what she does in season 5. She loses a bunch of kids. The dude who I called evil military guy, he does more than Linda Hamilton does. He actually kills Callie and traps Hopper and 11 before Murray has his big hero moment. So really, actually, I'm only putting her above him because of her name, which I know isn't right, but I'm going to give her some extra points. But really, in the plot, she doesn't do anything. She is really as unimportant as it is for just Vecna's first victim was more important than her. And I think she fits very well. and because I prefer watching her over Happy Russian Guy. But other than that, they really waste her talent in this season, and it baffles my mind. I will never understand how you waste Linda Hamilton. It should be a fucking slam dunk for a villain, a government villain. And like when they introduce her, I was like, let's fucking go. Even at the end of part 1, I'm like, okay, she did some stupid decisions, but dude, volume 2, series final, and all she does is just set up for what happens to 11. Make it make sense. Okay, so Dr. Owens, another guy who's great, also played by, I forget the actor's name, but he's from Mad About You from back in the day. I'm gonna put him up into the BFF tier. I think these two should be together. Now, I don't think that he does as much as Brenner does, which is why he's not top tier or above Brenner, but he does facilitate 11 having to come back. He moves a lot of season 4's plot and then fucking vanishes. And I don't know if he died or if they couldn't get the actor. I don't know what happened. I want Owens to have some fucking justice here. Now, see, with these top tier characters, they all had fundamentally important roles to play. There's even a Barb's missing thing. Bob's just the fucking man. Eddie is the most loved character, I think, in franchise history, and Joyce is Joyce. But Owens felt like there was so much more to do with him. And I don't know if Paul Reiser couldn't do more of the show or if there was scheduling conflict, but he just kind of fucking disappears along with the scientist people. Did he get killed? Is he in Tahiti? I don't fucking know. But I'm going to put him up there with Brenner because these were the two best, just in my opinion, the best evil scientist guys that we've gotten in the show. These two really make the military plot feel dangerous. It makes it feel important. And these actors are both great. But not only are they great actors because you had Linda Hamilton in here, but they move the story to where the characters have to go. And we care about them. Yeah, I loved Owens for as little as he showed up. And he got put into Nina to become 11 versus 2. Yeah. Dude, Dr. Owens is just one of those characters in the show that just up and disappears. Well, we're never going to get a fucking answer. And this is the other thing that pisses me off about some of these characters is that now the show is over. We're never going to find out what fucking happened to Dr. Owens or anybody who just fucking randomly disappeared from the show. So, yeah, it's a little bit weird. I hate when they do this thing where they make the characters just disappear. Now, keep in mind, it's Paul Reiser who plays it, so I understand he's a pretty big old-timey actor. So it could have just been scheduling conflicts or something happened. I don't know. But I would have liked to have his story closed out. Now, Lucas's sister. Oh, boy. I don't know if this is going to be a hot take, but I'm pretty sure from what I've seen from the Stranger Things community, we can all agree. I fucking hate her. Lost sister. She is the worst addition to the Stranger Things team. Everything scene she's in feels like it doesn't fit. I hate her attitude. I get it's supposed to be the difference between her and Lucas, but I haven't liked her character, man, since the beginning. And I don't dislike the actress. There's some parts where I think she could be charming, but this is a case of I feel like the director's letting this character down because I don't like her at all. I feel like a lot of her storylines, especially in this season, feel forced because they wanted to pull her into it. I think the only time I liked her was maybe season 1 and 2 when she was like really young. But yeah, I can't. Yeah, I know it's a hot take. I know people like Erica. Don't get mad at me, but I just don't like her character in general. And I feel like she does have moments that move the plot, but you know what? I'll be nice. I'll move her up to demi garbage because if I'm grading fairly, she does move the plot. And I'll even give you this. I'll put her above Derek because she's got a little bit more to do. But I can't in good conscience put her up in these top 3 tiers. I just can't. She's very abrasive, and I get that's her character, but the actress, I feel like, overdoes it. She's very annoying. I hate the scene she's in. Sometimes I fucking fast forward. I just can't stand her character. But yeah, I told you there was going to be some hot takes. I don't know how people are going to like some of these, but but I'll be fair. If I'm, like I said, I'm grading some of this too on how they're used in the season, and just because they're a top character, and they're an important character, I'm not going to put them up top because they're a lead. They got to contribute something. To me, a lot of her stuff feels forced. So Erica's okay. Now Dustin. Now Dustin is a tough one because I do not like what they did with him in this season. But I feel like it would be irresponsible for me if I didn't put him right next to Joyce. I can't put him over Joyce. I don't think his character is consistent enough, but he deserves to be barbed here. I mean, no self-respecting Stranger Things fans could say Dustin is consistent until this last season. And I get it if you tell me Eddie and the whole thing this, and I'm still putting him in S tier. But I went back through and watched every season, and I realized one important thing, even in season 3 that I hate. I just fucking love Dustin, man. He to me is really the heart of this show. And he made Mike as a character better because of their relationship. And when you can have 2 actors that play so well off of each other, and the actor himself just seems like a down-to-earth guy, and maybe I'm being fucking biased. It's my tier list. But Dustin's a sweetheart, man. And out of most of the characters besides season 5, he stays straight up consistent. And I'm not gonna lie, he made me cry in season 4 when he was talking about how they should recognize Eddie, or he goes into the gymnasium and he starts speaking about Eddie and he starts crying. Goddamn, man, you don't have a heart if you ain't crying. I'm getting teared up just talking about it. Fucking phenomenal acting, and I don't think this tier list could be legitimate unless I have Dustin up in S tier. Just like he's just a fun character, great actor, pretty much stays the same through almost the entire run of Stranger Things. So I feel comfortable putting him up here. And I don't think anyone would disagree with me that he's an S tier character. The only reason why he isn't above Joyce is just because Joyce's character stays consistent through the whole show. Where Dustin, I don't think I like what they did with him in the season. So Dustin, he's our hero. Now, this is this kid, I have no clue who this is. Who is this supposed to be? I'll put him here. I have no clue who that is. No clue. If anyone knows, let me know. A creepy ass kid. Eden, okay, I don't even remember Eden. I'm gonna put up my launch list here. Like I said, one of those characters I don't even fucking remember. I don't remember them at all. It's like a big blank blank space. Susie's sister, I think. Yeah. Dude, what happened to that? Oh, the girl who was. That's why I didn't like them. Okay. Yeah, then they belong in this tier because I don't like Agler. So, yeah, I don't like. Yeah, they're such a non character. I'll put them right next to Agler, though. They're both non characters. Yeah, I don't like even Agler. I could justify maybe putting him 1 or 2 tiers up, but I don't even remember this kid at all. And I've watched season 4 a couple of times. It's crazy. Just one of those characters that don't stick to me. Okay, so this character here, I think is a character from, oh, I'm trying to see. Is that season 4? Yeah, I'm going to put them in bottom tier. I don't remember you. You're not going to higher. You're a lost sister. Um, so, Holly. Holly. So here's the thing. I am very split on Holly because I think the show gives her a good arc. And it's weird because she's very minimal in this whole entire series. And them going and giving her such a big role, I'm going to say works for me. And I'm going to actually go a step further and say she's one of the best parts of season 5. So I'm going to put her below Brenner and Owens because I think their arcs hit me harder. But I think they really bumped her up to at least A tier. Some of the best moments in this, she was, yep, okay. So Callie, I'll get to the Lost Sisters. That's one of the worst episodes. I think Holly would have been a very weird, out of place character, but I think the actress played her well. And I'm going to be honest, when her and Max were interacting, when we had the emotional moments with her, I really felt them. And I can't in good conscience say that her character wasn't good just because I didn't see her, because she became one of the linchpins that, and I think one of the only things that work in season 5, and a lot of the story is held on her shoulders, and I'm going to give her due. I think not only the actress does a phenomenal job, but I think she's one of the best written characters in this season. Full stop. And that is fucking crazy. I'm not to Steve yet. We'll get to Steve. Yeah, I liked Hallie. It really played well. Don't worry, I haven't rated Steve yet. There's supposed to be an entire arc where she would save her and Max, but it got cut. Yeah. I could have done, actually, to be honest, if we cut a few other shitty scenes, did more Holly, I think I could have put her in S tier. What a fucking change. And I just want to say, credit to that actress. I think she has a bright future. She really hit the emotions without coming off like Will, and we'll get to him. She really held up a lot of this season. So I got to put her up into the A tier. She was definitely knocking it out. Now Hopper, my boy Hopper. I love Hopper. I love this actor. But Hopper is the most fucking inconsistent character depending on the season. This season they made him a badass again. So very narrowly, very, very narrowly, I'm going to put him here, but I'm going to put him at the bottom. Hopper was destroyed in season 3. Fucking character assassinated in season 3. And the reason why he worked his way back up was because they made him a badass. Thank God for this final season. To see where he was in season 1 and even in season 2, and then just season 3 would have put him down here if he didn't redeem himself in the final season, because I didn't even like the Russia stuff. I thought it was fucking stupid. But this season and some of the most emotional moments came from Hopper and 11. And I think that, functionally, they got him back on track. Now, I still put Holly above him because his character has been so inconsistent over 5 years. And it's not his fault. It's the writer's fault. And I don't give a shit how good you are at acting. Eventually, if you have bad writing, there's only so much you can do. I think what they did to him in season 3 almost made me stop watching the show. But they redeemed him, and I'm comfortable with putting him up in the A tier. Because without him, you don't have the shit with 11 working. And I finally saved the season's terms ranking season 2, 3, 5 is equally, and season 4 and 1 as perfection. I agree. That was my go back through after this and watch my ranking. I put season 1 as the best. Season 4 is my number 2. Season 2 is my number 3, and then the bottom two are 5 and 2 or whatever. You get what I'm saying. I had about the same ones. Like 5 and 3 were tied. They were my 4 and 5, but they could have easily, you could swap those on any day. And then season 2 I had as my number 3, and then my number 2 was season 4, and my number 1 was season 1. Exactly that. They actually, you kind of look like Hopper. Maybe that's why I like him. That's why I was so pissed they assassinated his character. Thank you. Yeah. I'm a big Hopper fan, and I almost like, true story. Anybody who watches, when season 3 rolled around and they made him a bumbling idiot and a drunk loudmouth, and he was treating 11 like shit, I almost stopped watching the show. That's how angry I was. I am a diehard Hopper fan. I'm a father. And I know people who have had issues with alcoholism and things like that. So his storyline really resonated with me. And when they fucked him so hard in season 3, I damn near stopped watching the show. But thankfully, I think season 4 started building him up. And then season 5, he had his badass moments. He had some of the best emotional payoffs. So I have to put him up in A. I mean, I can't put him up in the Barb tier, but he had a real good redemption arc. So there's some solid characters up there, and I think he's in his perfect spot. Now we have evil agent guy from the worst season ever in the Supermouth fucking Lost Sisters. I can't even remember what this guy's function was, nor do I care. Like I said, I'm doing side characters, and as we've seen, there's some good side characters. This guy is just like agent spy guy in a ridiculous fucking storyline. Like, why are you here? I don't understand. Once again, we have random cheerleader. I think I remember her slightly more, so we'll just put her in How Are You Not Dead? With these people, I remember she was there. I remember she's like a mean girl. Beyond that, I don't really remember much else. So let me see. This is an 11, is it? Are we all the way up to 11 already? Sometimes these pictures are really hard to tell. Let me see here. Is that supposed to be 11? I cannot. Dude, I don't see anything else that looks like 11. No, 11's here. Who the fuck is that? Okay, does anyone know who this character is? See, this is what I'm talking about with some of these side characters. Oh yeah, hero agent guy. That's what I said. Hero agent guy. I don't even fucking remember what he does. I think season 5 was good overall. A lot of expectation, but the final episode made me realize it was about the story. It's about the character bonds that's shared. I can agree with that. I just don't like the interviews that they did. Yeah, I don't know who it is too. So you know what? We're just gonna put them in the bottom tier. I'm sorry if they're important, but I feel like they're not. Okay, so evil football guy. I'm gonna call him, because we already have evil football guy right here. I'm gonna call him head evil football guy. And you know what? I'm gonna put him in demi garbage, but I'm gonna put him at the very bottom, because here's the thing about his character. He basically is the linchpin for all of the shit in season 4, crazy enough. And I even put him, like, I'll even put him above Linda Hamilton, because well, no, you know what? I'll put him right at the top of demi garbage, because I fucking hate how one-dimensional his character is. However, he is fundamentally, unfortunately, important to the plot of season 4. And I hate to say that, but he just is. He is the main plot device. He's the reason why Eddie is on the run. He's leading the little rally against people who do Dungeons and Dragons. Um, uh, yeah, I don't really I don't really understand why they didn't give him more personality. Because for me, a good villain is not just there to function as a way to move people to your plot beats, but also should have some kind of personality. And like with the running up the hill here, everybody has personalities. This is super personality driving a story, and then this is top tier, just the best of the best, right? And he is almost running up the hill, but I hate his stupid face. And he has one character trait. He's the mean jock, the head of the mean jocks. That's why he's before Mean Jock 3, because he is fundamentally important with the thing between Lucas and say Max and the ticking time clock. I just wish that they gave him better material and the actor had a little bit more charisma. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I know people like uh some people more than others. Now, Lucas, oh boy, Lucas. Look, now, here's the thing that makes it so hard for me with Lucas. The actor is fucking phenomenal. And hits so many ranges. And is an integral part of, the team. And has even that plot in season 4 that I really love about the popular kids versus the nerds and how you're growing up and you transition. But like at a point, especially in season 3 mostly, but a little bit in season 2, it becomes a lot with him about girls and am I fitting in and all of this stuff. It's really tough for me. You know what? I think I could put him up where Hopper is. I'll put him in the A tier. What really keeps him from being up here with his boy Dustin or with Eddie or any of them is just Lucas kind of doesn't become very much relevant until season 4. And if I was just going off of season 4, I'd fucking have him at the top because I think the thing with him and Max really drives that whole fucking season and emotionally breaks me. But season 5, man, I don't know. I feel like he doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. And certain seasons, there's times where he's just kind of there and interjecting stuff. I mean, even fucking Holly felt like she had more to do. And Hopper went on his redemption arc. Lucas is just kind of trying to save Max and then just kind of there. So it wouldn't be right to put him anywhere near the top, but I can't put him any higher than this. And I don't know how people feel, but I think it's a good place. I think, yeah, he did redeem himself, and I love the relationship between him and Max. It's the fucking heartbeat in season 4, which is my second favorite season. But man, when I think of Lucas, I only think of moments where Joyce, I can pinpoint like things she's pivotal in, or just the way she acts really highlights it. In some scenes, he's just kind of there, and he throws out a comment. It's tough. He doesn't stand out to me like Dustin, where Dustin is the fucking heart in every scene he's in, everything he's doing, you're just kind of captivated. Lucas is, if he's not directly like being focused in on, he just kind of falls in the background with everybody else. I put him above Jonathan because he's a lot like Jonathan later up, where they just kind of disappear and they don't really know what to do with them. So that's why I put him above Jonathan, because Jonathan just kind of to me becomes like a fucking ghost. Even in this season where I see him, I so many times forget that he's a fucking character. At least with Lucas, he's got something, but it's like he's got Max. That's really his big thing. And so I can't in good conscience give him top tier. Now, I don't know how people are going to feel about this. Maybe I got bias, but Sadie Sink is awesome. Max is one of the greatest fucking storylines, and I'm going to put her right fucking here. And as a matter of fact, I'm even going to say that for me, and this might be a super hot take, she's above Dustin. Sorry, guys. Max gave us one of the fucking greatest songs of all time with Running Up the Hill. I know people are tired of it, but I got that fucking song on replay. The fucking emotional scenes. How devastated I was and still am, even though I know how this show ends, when she gets fucking and the scene where she's running towards the portal has got to be one of the best visually shot in this whole fucking show. Sadie Sink is so fucking compelling. Even when she has nothing to do, she's just so good. Like, I don't really like the fact they brought her back. I think killing her would have been very impactful and made for more emotional beats. But then the selfish side of me would have thought Lucas wouldn't have had anything to do. But yeah, Max is fucking top tier. And I love Dustin. And really, I battled with this when looking at this list. Like, fuck, man, who do I love more? But I realized I'm a big Max stan, man. Max just... The actress, dude. This is what I'm talking about when I mention acting and how important it is, even when you're not written well. Anybody else doing this character, it could have came off as the bitchy or whatever else. But the way she acts this character out and the nuance that she puts in the performance, to me, is right up there with Winona Ryder. Now, I think Joyce is better just because it's Winona Ryder. She's got more years. But Sadie Sink's gonna be a real fucking talent to look out for. And I'll be honest, I will watch anything she's gonna be in. I think this young lady is fucking going places. Her acting is just... Yeah, Max is my girl. Like, there's a lot of things if Max doesn't work at a character that just fall apart. So yeah. Not that I'm aware of. I'm going to be keeping my eye out. I do know that there is a couple of projects with other Stranger Things cast members, but Sadie Sink, I'm not particularly sure on if she's got anything else going on past the show. Because I looked it up and I didn't see anything else, but I bet you $100 she'll be in more stuff. Like, great character, one of my favorites. Like, this is top tier for me. And I think she stays consistent through all of it. Now, this chick from the worst episode ever, I think she's in the Lost Sisters episode. Boom, Lost Sisters. If you couldn't guess, that's my least favorite fucking episode ever. I hate it. It so doesn't fit anything. I'm just like, why? Why does this episode exist? So therefore, all of the characters in it, fuck them. I don't care. Enough said. So, Mikey boy. Mike. Okay, so even the cast was dogging on that episode. Yep. It was filler. Yeah, it was the definition of filler. And that's why when people ask me why I have season 2 so low and I have season 4 above it, because I feel like season 4 and season 1 don't have filler. They're just long. Whereas season 2, literally, that episode, you take it out, it changes nothing. I've skipped over it when I've watched season 2. You lose absolutely fucking nothing. Worst episode they've ever done. I would even say it was one of the worst episodes I've seen in a show in quite some time. Mike, this is tough for me. Mike, he's there, but for me, sometimes he doesn't feel like he's got much to do. He's very prevalent in season 1, and then season 2, he's kind of here or there. Season 3, I don't even remember where the fuck or what the fuck was going on with him. Season 4, he kind of becomes more relevant, but a lot of traits about him are specifically tied into 11. And Wolf Finhart is a great actor. I don't think, though, that his character reaches the heights that we see from these top tier. but I will say I will put him where he belongs, right? And I'll even put him above because Mike has the only really great scene in the final for me with that what if scenario. I'm not gonna lie, even though I think Eleven's death is stupid, it still got me, and that's solely on the delivery that Wolfen Hart is giving and how good his acting is. I can, in good conscience, put him on the bottom. And I would even say that his acting is stronger than these three here. But I still, I'll put him over Dr. Owens too. But I still think Brenner is stronger overall and serves his purpose and goes out with a bang, where Mike kind of just, there's a lot of seasons where he's not that strong. But I still consider him top tier. And look, it's tough when you have, Finn is a good actor too. Finn Wolfhard is a great actor. The problem that I have with some of these people in this group is that a lot of their stories are tied into another character, and how we feel about them is based on how we feel on a relationship, but that isn't what the character's adding to the story. I don't like it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, they're breaking up, they're not together. Like, that's not compelling to me. A good character can stand on their own. And that's like what makes Bob good and Barbara, even Joyce, when she isn't necessarily tied to Hopper to make her good until the final moments of season 3 and 5. And even then, they're kind of off being their own characters, where I feel like Mike is directly either tied into his friends or he's tied into Eleven and what she's doing. And I don't feel like he's got a lot of agency in very many scenes, except for in season 1, where he gives that passionate speech, and in the end of season 5. That acting, the speech to me makes no fucking sense. Like, what are we doing? But what sells it is him tearing up and talking about what their futures will potentially be like, and him taking that look. Like, dude, Wolfen Hart should have had more standout scenes like that, because that fucking scene was great. And just on that alone, I'm going to bump him up to the A tier. I think he does a great job with the material he's given. And I seen his movie, Hell of a Summer. I think the movie's a little confused, but he's really good in it. And I think he's got a great future. And I can't wait to see what he does after now doing Stranger Things, because he talked about he wants to get into directing and, starring and stuff. And I think he's going to be a up-and-coming talent to look out for. So I'll put him in A. We'll be BFFs. All right. Mind Flare. Oh, boy. The most fucking inconsistent entity of all time. Depending on what season you're in, the Mind Flayer is a threat. It isn't a threat. It's controlled by Vecna. No, they're separate. Look, I have to, in good conscience, put the Mind Flayer with the rest of the very inconsistent. This Running Up the Hill has actually, even though it's B tier, these characters are mostly here because they feel the most inconsistent or inconsequential, or this Billy just makes me feel dirty as a character. Mind Flayer is important, yet somehow doesn't feel important all at the same time. You have the Mind Flayer. It seems to be this own entity. Oh, no, wait. No, it's Vecna. No, it wasn't Vecna. It's the Mind Flayer the whole time. No, they're joined together. It's like, what the fuck is happening right now? So I'll give Mind Flayer one thing, because it's the main villain. I'll put it at the top of Running Up the Hill, because it is literally the whole point of Stranger Things. But it's so fucking inconsistent. And it's one of the things where I think the Duffer Brothers fail with their lore. Like, yes, thank you. That's what I was thinking. Who's in charge? Is it the Mind Flayer? Is it Vecna? Is it both of them? Are they together? And here's the big fucking $1 million question. Will is supposed to be connected to the Mind Flayer, but yet he didn't die when Vecna and the Mind Flayer died. Answer that one for me. Duffer said, don't worry about it. It pisses me off. Because it's such a great villain. a godlike creature that we can't understand. I'm actually writing a book about eldritch gods. It should be coming out this year. Um, and one of the most important things is when you try to explain something that's supposed to be a godly beast or a monster or something, you take the mystique out of the character, because part of what makes it so interesting is that we can't understand it. We get the gist, but you should keep things mysterious because it lets the people use their imaginations. And they really demystified the mind flare from what it was in season one to now. It's, oh man. Oh, the book is going to be called Harbinger, and the first volume one is called Contagion. It is a book that is about. I based it a lot off of The Thing, which is one of my favorite John Carpenter movies of all time. And it is it is about a parasite that takes over people, but it's told from the perspective of the virus. So the virus thinks it's a person, and you kind of follow that journey. And along the way, it winds up breaking down the veil between our world and eldritch gods. And so there's going to be Cthulhu, the Yellow King. These are going to be different books where I introduce them. There's going to be different survivors that'll cross and intercut into the different stories, and then it'll be one final battle with all of the people versus these gods and aliens fighting, and we're kind of stuck in the middle. I'm also nihilistic, so you can figure out how it's gonna be. So, yeah. So, oh, really? You played a game like that before? Well, I thought it was wholly original, but I'm mixing a couple of ideas. It's nothing original. I'm just hoping that the things that I do with it will be a new spin people haven't heard. So, hopefully, I do it justice. Okay, so this was I think, Dustin's teacher, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna put him in demi garbage because I feel like he is important to stuff, but it's just like he kind of just functions to be there for a few episodes. Although he is one of the key reasons for the coordinates and everything, so I feel comfortable putting him right about there. He's interesting. I will, Mr. Clark. Oh, well, wasn't exactly like that. You just played. Oh, you played from the parasites route. That sounds interesting. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. This is going to be the virus taking over someone, but from the virus's point of view, and it's like doesn't realize that it's human. So yes, Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark is one who, once again, I will even put him above Russian guy and this guy here. Um, you know what? I'll even put him above Linda Hamilton and nah. I think the chick who dies from Vecna is better. Um, but yeah. Uh, he is mentioned a couple of times in the show. I even think I saw him in season three, maybe. I know he was popped in and out in a couple of the seasons. I like his character, however, I still just feel like they kind of used him as a plot device in this season just because they didn't have Dustin and they needed somebody else. He really doesn't have much of a characteristic except for, oh, I can't believe what's going on, that kind of a thing. So uh, he didn't really show up that much. And that's why I bumped him up too. I do find him likable. He's just it's just kind of one of those characters that's just there. He's not offensive. I remember him. I remembered his character. Thank you for giving me the name. I for the life of me couldn't remember his name, but the actor at least is memorable to me, unlike these bottom ones where I just don't know who they are at all. So now, Henry. Henry, I'm going to bump up, and you could call it a bit of a bias, but I'm going to put Henry up into the A tier, but on the very bottom. Because for me, and this is because I'm a father, this motherfucker is so creepy. And there's something about with kids like this, the idea, and it's what pisses me off about what they do with Vecna, and we'll get to him in a second. But Henry edges out running up a hill, goes up because of my fear that I always had of somebody creepy who looks like that coming as a friend to kids who wouldn't understand. And the way he presents himself as a child, you could probably see yourself talking with him. And meanwhile, he's fucking abducting kids. And I think the way the actor plays it, and he's essentially playing two different roles because he plays Vecna in the mental institution, or Henry in the institution when he was with the special kids, and then he plays him as this grown up version who's supposed to look casual. And I think right in the beginning, from when I saw him in that first part, he creeped me the fuck out. And so I wanted to put him there. And yeah, I do think Jamie played him scarily well. Yeah, I agree. He's very unnerving. And I think even though they show him briefly, and even though you see him more towards this final season, like when he's got the kids trapped in the house and he's getting ready to do this ritual, there's just something so. And I think someone described it best when they said like an evil Mr. Rogers. That it's just like this really grimy feeling with this character, and I just don't like it. Don't like it. Oh boy, I forget who this is. I honestly forgot who that was. God, I don't even know what season they were from. Is this like another cheerleader? They really have every side character. I have no clue who that is. So they're just going bottom tier. Mainly because I don't remember them. Okay, so we're getting into some of the top ones here. We got Murray. Oh boy, Murray. Murray. Me and Murray have a love-hate relationship. I like Murray in season 2. Or what did he come in 2? I think he was in 2. I think he was introduced in 2. No, he was in 3. He was, as a matter of fact, he was the best part of 3. Yes, I like him in 3. Thought he was kind of annoying in 4. And then was better than I expected in season 5. I think Murray has a very one-dimensional shtick. I, at times, am so confused about if I like or hate him. And maybe that's just good acting. And his importance level is really dependent on the season. He plays a huge role in season 3. He's just kind of there to guide Joyce in season 4. In season 5, he does have a cool looking moment. I really don't like Mary that much, but I can't ignore what he's contributed. So I'm going to put Murray above Creepy Henry. I don't like him enough and this is just personal bias now. I don't like him enough to move him past Lucas or Hopper or fucking Holly or Will or Owens or Brenner. It ain't happening. But I think at this point, and if I'm thinking about everything he's contributed to the story, unfortunately, he is an A-tier character. He functions not only to move the plot, but whether you like or hate his personality, he has his own distinct personality, pretty much. Honestly, too, I'd say he stays pretty much consistent throughout all of Stranger Things. Except for he tones down the conspiracy theories. I think the actor, maybe I hate him because the actor does such a good job. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. He kind of just disappears in season 5. Once again, one of those things where, did he get an ending? Did they even say what happened to Murray? Or did he just fuck off? I don't even know. Was he in the crowd during the graduation? Yeah, so I'm comfortable at putting him BFF. I think your mileage may vary depending on how you feel about Murray overall. Now, Nancy, like, look, Nancy to me has always been just a fucking annoying character. Even going through her arcs, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there's a season I ever really cared for Nancy. Maybe seasons 1 and 2. I thought the scene with her in season 5 was fucking ridiculous. I did not like it. But unfortunately, she has an exorbitant amount of screen time. There's literally a season where her whole arc is whether or not she's gonna fucking go to this paper, and then the thing with Jonathan. And I hated the whole "I unmarry you" thing. I don't know if other people liked it. I thought it was stupid. I was like, what the fuck are we doing right now? And because of that, I'm gonna put her at running up that hill. I think she deserves to be with Jonathan in this bracket, but honestly, I don't see the appeal. I know a lot of people like Nancy. Some people really like Nancy. I thought the whole thing with her outrunning the fucking kaiju was ridiculous, man. I don't even think she was the fastest out of all of them either. If we're talking about who can run the quickest out of everyone, fucking Lucas should have been the one it was chasing, because Lucas is on the fucking football team and he's the athletic one out of everyone. So that didn't even make sense. But once again, man, she's just one of those characters who works well in season 1 and maybe season 2, but beyond that, she's like sidelined to these god awful storylines, and then they try to like hype her up in seasons 4 and 5, and it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't. But I can't call her trash either, because she has relevance in the story. I just can't with her. I just can't. Yeah, I really, that is, you hit the nail on the head. I don't hate the actress, and I don't even think I hate the concept of the character. Just what they do with her, and this is the mind-boggling thing. I think for seasons 1, 2, and 3, Nancy really doesn't do shit. Like, season 1, what happened to Barb, and then I guess fuck Barb. That's why she's up there. # justice for Barb. And then, like, what is her arc? Like, really think about it, guys. Like, Nancy's arcs are always like my tier running up the hill. She's constantly like stuck in the same fucking storyline, and I just find it repetitive. Yeah, she came back out of nowhere. Yeah, I agree. She just like fucking walks back and she's like, here I am, I'm back in the season. Yeah. So I feel comfortable putting her in B tier. I'm not with Jonathan. Like, I feel like both these characters should have been killed off. Hot take, hate me if you want to. I think that if they really wanted to kill main characters, they should have fucking gotten rid of Jonathan and Nancy, because to a point, they just don't fulfill a function in the story anymore. And it's mind-boggling that they made it to the fucking ending. I do not understand that, but still B tier. I would say Jonathan's just above her because of the fact that at least his shtick stays constant and his character pretty much is a flat level. Same character, God. All right, so this guy, Lost Sister, don't even remember. Such a generic character. These characters too. I think this was the story arc with the football jocks or whatever. Sorry. None of you, I don't remember any of these 3 characters. I completely even forgot they were in the show. So I kind of feel like they're going to make a spinoff all around America. Then they will introduce more Abyss entities. Yeah, they already confirmed they're doing Summer of 76 or something. It's going to be animated, and it'll take place between seasons 2 and 3. So I'm a Stranger Things whore. I'll tune into that because they got me. Oh, the black guy was in this. The black guy in the second season guy got to get Vecna. Yep. So and in front was the jock guy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, they're just those characters. They're a lost sister because to me they don't serve a function that means anything. Hell, you know what? You know what? You convinced me. Even Aguilar, I'll bump him up for you. I'll bump him up, and I'll even go as far as to put him right. Well, no, Dustin's mom is funnier, so I'll put him in How Are You Not Dead? Because honestly, at least with like Aguilar or Angry Military Guy, or even this kid, I remember specifically had a different personality, and him, I just put him here because he was just there. I hated Carrot's art, was stupid, and even this girl, who's like Mean Girl number 2, I remember her, but like people like these characters, it's a shame because they could have did so much, and they're just like, no, they die. Boom, end of story. Fuck them. We're moving on. It's weird, and it's weird with the vanishing characters. So weird. Okay, so Robin. Oh boy. Oh, Robin. I have very mixed feelings about Robin. I think she's excellent and one of the bright spots in season 3. She's just kind of there in season 4. And I'm not going to lie, people. Maybe I'll break your heart and I apologize. I think she's fucking annoying in season 5. And if I'm basing on how useful I feel Robin is, she's pivotal in season 3. She really is not very featured in season 4. And then season 5, she's just like following people, but she's telling jokes and she's talking to Will to work out his inner feelings and blah blah blah. I'm gonna put Robin in. See, now I think Robin is better than Nancy and Jonathan, and I think Robin is her annoyingness is just highlighted by the fact she doesn't have anything to do. So I think she's more consistent than the Mind Flayer. And I like her more than Murray. So you know what? I'm gonna put Robin right behind Lucas. Because you know what? No, I'll even give Robin I get her past Lucas because Robin still functions without that girlfriend to make her seem better. I just think the actress was not given much, but I can't put her anymore. I think that they really weren't sure what to do with her, and then they tried to do more with her in this season, and it kind of felt worse. But she was so good in season 3. I don't think that half of her stuff this season really lands with me as well as it did even in season 4. But you know, she's got that quirky personality, and I like her more than Murray, and I think she functions better than Lucas consistently. So I'll put her by Hopper. It seems like a good spot for her. Steve, my boy Steve. Steve, I have mixed feelings on because Steve functions so well directly because of Dustin. But then when you put Steve in other storylines, he doesn't feel like he has much to do. And I'm really pissed they didn't kill Steve. And hate me, people, if you want to, but they should have fucking killed Steve in season 4. I think that would have been a perfect spot because season 5 does the dumbest thing they could have done and revert that friendship between Dustin and Steve and really pissed me off. But if I'm looking at even before he became buddy with Dustin, I loved Steve from the moment he came on screen because the actor really put some vulnerability in him that didn't just make him a jock bully, which he very well could have been. And I think the actor really elevated the character. And I'm just going to say it. You don't need Nancy, so I'm going to put him above Nancy. You know what? This might be a hot take. You might riot, you might burn. I'm going to put Steve in the top. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take it for I'm gonna put Steve where he should be, right next to Dustin. Bam, friends forever, right there. Steve was actually the reason why I made the BFF tier, but I'm sorry, man. I'm probably being highly biased here, but I just feel like Steve and Dustin should be better. And I'm putting Dustin slightly above Steve because I don't like what they did with any of these characters, but I think they redeemed Dustin a lot better than they do Steve. And I do like Steve's monologue at the end. Top tier character. I'm sorry. His acting, like the storylines let him down, but he's one of the few characters I've seen in a show who could have easily been the worst character and just that one-dimensional bully. And I remember the first season so vividly when Steve's first introduced. And this was when I thought the Duffers were at their best. And I go, oh, fuck, here we go. We're going to have the bully jock and he's going to be killed or something's going to happen to him and he's useless. And then I'm watching it going, you know what? I really like this Steve fellow. He's got charisma. And that's the key with the people on top. They got that secret sauce. They got that special something. And I don't know what it is, but he's got something that keeps me compelled even when his character is pissing me off. I love Steve as much as I love Dustin, and god damn it, they fit together. There's like, I can't separate them. I can't do it. Yeah, I agree. I see why. I can't separate the Steve and Dustin duo. That would just be criminal of me to do. I can't do it. Yeah, and I thought that would have been crazy if they killed him off in season 1 because the potential. I think they should have killed him in season 4. Hot take. And I love Steve. He's up there at the top. But I think if you wanted to make an impact, if they killed him and Eddie, oh boy, you know how many people they probably ripped the hearts out of. You know, Game of Thrones killed 8 main characters in the Red Wedding. I'm exaggerating. It was like 4 or 5. They killed a whole house. And it's considered one of the best episodes of all time in television. I just pretend season 7 and 8 never happened. But anyways, my point being is that Steve and Dustin will always be those dudes and remind me of so many times where you're friends with a person and you don't know how you guys are friends and you got that bond. And I think even in the show that consistently shines through. And they give him some fucking god-awful material. Dustin would have been, dude, Dustin would have thrown himself off the top of a fucking radio tower. If he lost, dude, imagine, okay, so let's go on a tangent here. Imagine the kind of drama we could have had if Dustin lost both Steve and Eddie. I think that would have been very interesting to explore. I don't know how it would have been written, but I'm just saying, just picture him losing both Dustin losing both Steve and Eddie in the same season. I think you could have got some really good stuff out of this season and fucking cut out that stupid conversation with, well, and no, I don't dislike the conversation because he admits he's gay. I dislike the conversation because it slows down the pace of the whole entire fucking episode, and it's the episode right before the final. Why we needed to have that, I have no clue, and we'll get to him. But yeah, so I don't remember her. This is random military guy looking for 11. So let me see. And I don't remember who you are. So they're all lost sisters. I remember this girl. She just stood up and said something in that town hall meeting about the Dungeons and Dragons. Lost sisters. Pointless. Okay, so we're getting to a big one, and people might call this a goof. Yeah, Susie, thank you. Like, what do you mean everyone needs to hear this? Yes, thank you. Thank you. We could have inferred. Thank you. I'm glad somebody said it. I just hate the fact of, if you're going to do something like that, don't kill the pacing of the show. It's got to be organic, because then you're going to piss people off, because it's like, why are we doing this when we got to go fucking fight Vecna. Like, does it add anything? Does it contribute? That's what I say when I see a scene. And no, it adds nothing. Tommy Thompson, Robin's first crush. Yeah, I'm putting him in Lost Sisters. Don't remember. So the father, boom. I'm gonna put him, bam, just for what they did with him, top tier. Because we want justice for Mr. Willard. What the fuck? What the fuck? And then they just have him at the graduation, top tier, just because they fucked him so badly. He's one of those characters who was kind of silly and goofy, but I would have liked to see him, Ted, knock him down Willard. Yes. I wanted to see him more than Mrs. Wheeler. I'm sorry. And I felt so bad that in all of this chaos, nobody asked where he was. Nobody gave a shit about that. No wonder why he's fucking grumpy. Like, mom's sitting here blowing shit up. They probably got to pay that fucking giant bill, because who's going to pay for half the hospital being blown up? This poor guy, I'm surprised he hasn't had a heart attack with the bullshit going on in his house. You know what? This man is the hero of Stranger Things. Like, you know, like, my goodness, the shit he must put up with in his house. Yeah. Thank you. Nobody thought about it. This poor guy's gonna have to pay that shit. And then, like, what? His wife and kids don't fucking visit him? If you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, did anybody visit him in the hospital? Because I'm pretty sure the Demogorgon, like, knocked him back, or he had a concussion or something. They were like, nah, I hope mom's okay. Is she gonna make it? Man, I can't. If I lose mom, what am I gonna do? Oh, well, I guess fuck dad. Like, dude, and I'm a single father, man. That hurts. That hurts my soul. When people pointed it out, I thought I'd be an asshole if I came up with it, but I'm so glad people pointed that out. Because as a single father, I just think about, wow, nobody gives a shit about the dad. That is so fucked up. They didn't even show him in the hospital. I know. It's wild. It's so wild. My man Ted got the fucking raw end of the deal. So he deserves to be in the Barb category. He, to me, is the unsung hero that saved the day. In my headcanon, I like to think he saved the day. I don't know how, but he did. Whatever he was doing, I'm sure it was important. Whether it was paying for the fucking hospital bills, or checking on his wife, which they don't even show, or hell, maybe he was battling through a fucking coma. We'll never know, because he just fucking evaporates from every scene until the ending. Okay, so this character here, I do not remember, but I want to say she was a cheerleader, mean girl, some kind of side character. This dude was one of the scientist people. Once again, very non-character. Don't remember you. Don't remember you. And this kid was one of the kids from the experiment. And I'm going to put him higher on the I don't remember you, because I actually remember him being part of the experimental thing. But other than that, I really don't remember or really care to remember. Yeah, how's it gonna pay attention? What does he even do work as? Yeah. Dude, what is his work? You know what? I think we should have a spin-off of Stranger Things about Ted and his life. Like, let's make that happen. Like, let's do a show where we see Stranger Things, but from his perspective, with all this crazy shit going on. I'd fucking watch that show in a heartbeat. The second guy was from the press. Okay, the press that he worked at. Okay, and the third guy is the one in the bullies from season 1. I watched that. Okay, cool. So both of them are Lost Sisters category. I can't even remember you, and you vaguely moved the plot. Don't care. So Vecna. Oh, Vecna is really hard for me because I really want to put him up in the top tier. But what they do to my boy Vecna is a fucking crime because twice they hype him up. And this might be not a popular opinion, but both times I think they fuck him over. I don't blame him as far as the concept. I think they don't know what to do with him. And so I'm going to put Vecna. I'm going to put Vecna above the Mind Flare as the two final bosses in running up that hill. Vecna could have been so much more. And I feel like his Henry persona, even though you only see him for a slight bit, well, you know what? This is tough for me because I feel like the Henry persona does more and elicits more, where Vecna does so much in the fourth season, and then the fifth season they just drop the fucking ball with him. I feel like this is a good spot. I think both the Mind Flare and Vecna are just the straight up definition of the B characters, and I even put them above these characters here because they drive the show, but yet, especially with that battle, it's just so underwhelming, especially with the way they introduced him. When I think about the first introduction of Vecna, I was so excited. I got a cool Freddy Krueger vibe, and it's just such a letdown at the ending, and it's a case where I don't even think the actor or the character design is bad. It's just the writing is so bad that it's really hard because Dr. Brenner to me does more and has more of an impact. Like fucking Dr. Owens is even his Henry version. Like things are happening, but when Vecna comes, he has the cool moment where he kills a couple of people in their dreams. He fights 11, wins, gets his ass kicked, gets shot out of a window with lit on fire in the real world, and then season 5 fucks off, and then comes back, fucks up some people, gets beat, has to run from well, and then becomes a giant kaiju, and nothing comes of it. So, I mean, he's really up this far because the creature looks cool, and I like the concept of Vecna even more than the Mind Flare. But how they choose to utilize them, I can't go any higher. It's not even the concept's fault either. It's just the execution is so fucking terrible, and it really hurts my soul because I thought Mind Flare and Vecna would be like at least up in this tier, but I can't. They're such a letdown. It's so bad what they do with it. Okay, so oh man, that hurt my soul saying. It hurt me so bad. Just I just um let's go to the love interest of not Nancy, Robin. And I'm gonna put her in. You know what? I'll put her in Run Up That Hill and past Nancy because fuck Nancy. Um, she gets bumped up because I just like her personality. She's a little annoying in the last episode, but she's kind of a sweetheart. I do think her and Robin have chemistry. Uh, I don't think she does as much as I was hoping when she got introduced, but I'd much rather watch scenes of her and Robin as opposed to most of what Nancy is doing, except for the very end when she's with other people. So she's definitely a solid side character. She does contribute and give motivation for one of our main cast, and she does have a little quirky, charming thing. I just can't put her any higher because she's active, but she's not. I mean, she's kind of introduced in season 4, and then in this season, they kind of give her try to give her stuff to do. She has that thing where she very poorly hides her and Max, which is why I bumped her up, because as you can see, I consider Max an S tier character, but really she's just a love interest. This is the highest I could go with a side character, and that's higher than I. Yeah. Also, just straight up disappeared. Sorry, man. I gotta go. Okay, thank you for popping in. Hopefully, you catch the rest of my list. We're almost to the end here. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. So this character here, can't remember. So the Lost Sister. So well. Oh boy. Will was fucking massacred this season with one of the worst speeches. And I shouldn't say that it's a bad speech. It's the most poorly timed speech in the history of writing. I have no clue why they would waste time on this. Especially because the character work that they did. And I just want to get this out of the way for everybody who's saying, oh, people are being homophobic or whatever. No. I knew Will was gay since season 2 or 3 because there's strong implications. No, what pisses me off about this speech that I think no one is articulating is that we are in a rush, or that we should be in a rush. Shit is going down. The way it's worded and how literally the momentum of the episode grinds to a halt to tell these other characters these things, where you could have had it when they were walking several fucking times, with him maybe doing a one-on-one with people, or have it at the fucking epilogue. But the second to last episode, pausing to like have this speech that just equates to people going, okay, cool. Like, it's a writing thing that I said, where I hate a scene that does not make sense. It doesn't move the plot of the story. It has no bearing on anything that's going to happen going forward. So I am going to and Will is terrible in season 4. He cries a lot. I think the best seasons that Will was useful was seasons 1, season 2, season 3. He kind of vanishes and does a lot of crying. Season 4, he's crying and a non-character, and then season 5, he's now a badass until he isn't, until they fucking ruin it. And so I don't hate his character as much as, or think he has as much wasted potential as Nancy does, but I'm really never been a fan of Will except for seasons 1 and 2. I think he served his purpose, and maybe he should have died. And honestly, I think the only spot I could put him is above Nancy. I think that Will could have been at least up here, but because of how they handled aspects of his character this year and how uneven, and that's what this B tier is. Just characters that could have been great, like up here, but they fall short because of uneven, shitty character writing. And Will is the most uneven character in this whole fucking show. Really, after season 1, you feel that there's not much for him to do. But after season 2, and especially 3, he's just like such a fucking non-character until season 5, when then they hype him up, and I'm not gonna lie, they do a good job, and then just fucking nothing. It's so sad, because I would love to put him here with our classic trio, but I'm sorry, I just don't find him as good as any of these characters up here or here. He's so inconsistent. That's the only thing I can say. Will is the most inconsistent fucking character on this list. All right, so we've got Russian helicopter guy. I'm gonna put him in the Lost Sisters category. Sorry, he's just kind of there. He's the escape pilot. That's his function. So Vecna as a kid. I'm going to put him up here in the demi garbage tier, slightly above the two worst tiers, because he is creepy as shit. But really, the kid plot only comes up in some of season 4 where he burns down the house, and season 5. But because this kid looks so creepy, I'm gonna bump him right up, even past her. I think these two could have been so much more effective. And really, with this kid, he'd be higher probably in running up that hill if he had more scenes and more of a function. He's just super creepy and just creeps me out. And I think as a kid, it really shows how creepy of a kid Vecna was. But, essentially, it's just young, really eerie Vecna kid. You know what? I even like him more than football. I'll put him at the top of demi garbage. He just doesn't have enough for me to put him any higher. He's just kind of there, and he looks fucking weird, like a angry football guy. They do their functions well. They're just not important enough to put in these main spots. So, this is random teacher dude. You're going into Lost Sisters. I don't understand what this really hurts me. So the season with uh Jim Jim Busey, I believe. This is Gary Busey's kid. Great. He is, if I remember correctly, he is a crooked agent who betrays Hopper in season 3. He was one of the things that I remember, and because of that, I'm going to bump him up slightly more than the others. I'm going to put him right in this tier, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to put him ahead of Linda Hamilton and the school teacher, because he is so funny for the little time that he's in that I remember his character very vividly. And I wish that he's one of the side characters I wish had a bit more, or that they had back in the cast. I can't remember. I think he dies or something happens to him, but he's one of those characters where they got a really interesting actor and they just kind of waste him. But he's not the worst special guest that they've had on, and I think he's definitely more entertaining. So 11. Wow, 11. 11, 11, 11. 11 is the definition of a character that stays consistent, but their power scaling, depending on what season they're in, varies. Because if you go too powerful, she can solve everything. And yet sometimes I feel like there's no restrictions, so I don't understand how powerful you actually are. With that being said, Millie Bobby Brown shtick kind of gets old after season 1. But because of Hopper and their relationship, it really bumps her up quite a bit for me. And so I'm going to put 11. No. God damn it. Okay, hold on a second. Put you back here. Okay, I'm going to put 11. I'll put 11 right by Will. I think that, and Brenner, I like these three top tier. And it's kind of ironic they fall into this place. And as a matter of fact, I'll even put 11 above Will, because functionally she's just more important. I think this is a great spot to have her in. My problem with 11 and why I don't put her as an S tier is that I think that the character, they do good writing for her in some seasons, and then in other seasons, it just doesn't make sense. And really, her power scaling is what throws me off. If they did what they did with most of these characters up top for the most part, and kept her consistently at some kind of power scale until she levels up at the end of this final season, I'd be comfortable putting her higher. Unfortunately, I think they had a really tough time trying to write around how strong she actually is. Um, and honestly, with the way that they did her in the season final, I don't like her having an ambiguous death. I think it was a cop out, and I think they should have definitively said whether or not they killed her. It got the feels out of me, but this just feels right. I feel like these characters all are in their right placement because they have very a lot of things in common. So there we go. Now the Russian Terminator of the worst season ever. I'm gonna put Russian Terminator in. I'll put him up here in How Are You Not Dead? Um, I think he's more interesting than, say, these guys, but he kind of falls in the same group of Angry Soldier Guy. And I'll even put him over there because I feel like he's a bit more imposing than Angry Soldier Guy. But he's just like a character that Hopper has to overcome to become a badass again. And he's in one of the worst seasons that I hate. I really think the actor does a good job at the character, and I find the character entertaining when he was on screen and one of the best parts of the season. It's just in a really terrible season. I wish it was Hopper versus him when Hopper was a badass and they were on an even playing field, but they nerfed Hopper, they made him a dickhead, and it really just takes this like imposing force and makes it seem like a joke. Like the whole thing just felt like, oh look, we're doing the Terminator. It's just it's not good. So I will put him in How Are You Not Dead. This is the random high school girl. This dude I don't remember. Let me see. This girl don't remember, and of course, in the top of this tier, in the top of trash, even more than this guy actually, um, is Callie. Callie is the reason why I created this tier. Look. Callie is the worst character conceived, and I don't give a fuck about this season. She fucking sucked when they introduced her, and she fucking sucks now. And as a matter of fact, I'll go on record as saying that she's fucking worse in this season than she was in the episode Lost Sister, because she basically suggests that 11 unalives herself if she wants to save everybody. This character is so just unredeemable, and I it really baffles my mind. Like she's less annoying in this season as opposed to that one episode, but she's just not a good character. She never was a good character, and that's why she deserved her own tier list. Like she is one of the most garbage characters I think the show has ever made. I really hate Callie. I really think she's an awful character, and I thought it was a really crazy and not in a good way, just downright ridiculous decision to make her tied so heavy into 11's storyline, which is why 11's not up at the top tier. Um, it's just fucking nuts. I can't believe they tried so desperately to redeem that Lost Sisters episode, and I'm sorry. Still trash. Hated it. Callie is by far one of. She's not the worst character I've seen. That's probably Batwoman or one of those CW characters. But in this universe, in prestige television, like in a high budgeted streaming, she is one of the worst created characters. I'm sorry. She is the worst character above all of these people. And some of these are just no names I don't remember. Callie's a terrible character. I don't know what they were thinking. And that is the exact reason why this tier even fucking exists. But there you go. There's my tier list. Hopefully everybody loves it. In the comments below, let me know, what is your tier list? What do you think of how I ranked everything? As you can see, the Barb S tier has Joyce, Max, Dustin, Mike, Eddie, Barb, of course, Bob, and Tom. Shout out to you, bro. You're a hero. My A has Dr. Brenner, 11, Mike, Dr. Owen, Holly, Hopper, Robin, Lucas, Murray, and evil, creepy Mr. Rogers, Henry. And then my B tier is Vecna, the Mind Flare, Jonathan, uh, I forget his name, Vecna in the lab, Demogorgon, Robin's love interest there, Will, and Nancy at the bottom. In Demi Garbage, we have Evil Vecna as a kid, or Kid Evil Vecna, Evil Jock, forget her fucking name, Derek, girl who gets killed by Vecna just because she kicks off the whole thing, Jimbo Busey, Linda Hamilton, good guy, agent guy, and sweet Russian guy. And How Are You Not Dead? We've got Dustin's mom, Aglar, angry Russian guy, angry soldier guy, this kid who dies, evil jock number 2, Mrs. Willer, random mean girl, and dude who was in Dungeons and Dragons team, Hellfire Club. And then in the Lost Sisters tier, of course, we got Callie, Hopper's partner, who fucking randomly disappears. One of the named sevens, and Lonnie and all of them. You could check this out, but let me know what's your top tier. Like, what would you consider the best characters? I was actually surprised who I wind up putting in S tier. Like, I always knew Max and Joyce was going to be in there, and Eddie and Barb and Bob. I did not realize I was going to have Dustin and Mike up there, but upon reflection, I liked it. And I think this is a really good list. I think it's very balanced. I think there's been a lot of shitty characters. It's kind of funny. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your list. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Phantom Zone. Kneel before General Zod.